some family things happened and I couldn't go for
Okay.
that one.
Well, hopefully this year. So,
Yeah.
yay.
Yes. Hopefully you'll see you soon. Yes.
All right, and we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're watching this Facebook Live. This is the voice and the face of Dr. Tolu Olabintan, CEO and co-founder of Living Spring Family Medical Center here in the awesome city of Mansfield, Texas, where we believe in helping our patients live long and well because we believe the quality of life is just as important as the quantity of life. That's the reason why we're having these conversations, and I'm very excited to have with us today Dr. Carolyn Oh. How are you,
Oh,
Doc?
good. How are you? I'm so
I am
excited to
good.
be
So
here.
nice. It's so nice to see you, and thank you for being here.
Yes, I and thank you for having me. I so admire your message of wellness and women. I mean, for me, women, but patients kind of taking part in their own health. I think that's a really important message, and I'm so happy to be here with you.
Awesome, awesome. I'm excited about what this is going to show, and I love your name, Dr. O. I mean, so
Yes,
so.
and I love, and you're also Dr. O. I love your name too.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm going to introduce our guest now. If you're watching live, hashtag live. If you're watching in replay, hashtag replay, and of course, you can tag people and share with people because sharing is caring. So we have Dr. Carolyn O. She is a board certified obstetrician and gynecologist, and she practices in Long Island, New York. She is very passionate about women's health in all phases of life. I love that. But she has a special interest in helping midlife women live their fullest and most joyous through writing, speaking, and coaching. She's also board certified in obesity medicine, and she's a member of the North American Menopause Society and International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health. Wow, that's a mouthful. She's a mother to three young adults. She's a dog. She's not a dog. She's a mother to three young
Mother
adults,
to a dog.
a
It's actually
dog, and a
lovely.
cat, and she enjoys finding fun ways to stay healthy and fit. You are awesome, Doc. I love what you
Oh,
do. And I'm really excited because today we'll be talking about Doc. I'm caring for my parents, and my grown creeds are stressing me. Any tips for this season? So before we go ahead, though, Doc, I wanted to ask you, why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you
okay.
do?
Well, I'm gonna start at the beginning. So when I was deciding to apply to medical schools,
Right.
I happened to be involved in the care of a young woman where actually, I'm not going to go into, but it was a very sad story. And
Okay.
what struck me at that time was how easy it was to prevent. A little bit of education, a safe place for her to talk to, maybe a mentor that she could go to where she didn't have to feel ashamed. There were so many steps where it could have been prevented, and it would have made such a big difference for her. And it wasn't, she didn't need a GoFundMe page to fly her around the world for some like amazing surgery that only a few doctors can do. She didn't need an organ transplant. She just needed some guidance and education. And at that time, I thought, this is what I need to do. I need to educate women and advocate for them. And it could make such a huge difference.
Hmm.
And that's it. So I feel like this was a calling for me. And it was, at every stage of life. If you can get moms healthy, if you can get midlife women
Hmm.
healthy, if you can get young women just starting out, like to look after themselves and know what to do, and where to go for help, and in older women also to keep them healthy. So that's how I started. And so fast forward 25 years later, I'm looking in the mirror and I see this 50-year-old pudgy woman that's like 15 to 20 pounds, or
Who looks
heavier
great?
than I,
Who looks great? Who
who
looks great?
heavier than I wanted to be. Oh, thank you, thank you. And I'm getting these Facebook ads. You want to get rid of your belly fat? I'm like, how did they know? And I was pre-diabetic. I had backaches, the usual things that my patients were complaining of. I was having hot flashes. I was having trouble sleeping. My marriage was falling apart. And I was like, is this it? Is this like,
Mm.
if in the best case scenario, I'm halfway through my life. Okay, if I live to 100, this is it. And is the best part of my life behind me? So that's where I came to, and I decided that I wanted to live a better, more intentional life, and not just be kind of pulled along by my stresses and all the obligations you have, and to become healthier. And that's kind of that's on the journey to that is why I have the certification for the obesity medicine. I joined the North American Menopause Society and the ISHWISH, but what I found is, and we're you and I, Dr. O, we're privileged because we have patients who trust us and they confide in us and we know their stories. So we have this a special insight as well as our learning into their lives. And some of them, I get a lot of actually seek a lot of guidance from them, or I learn from them, because some of them really have it together, and they might not have everything together, but somebody has the childcare part together, somebody has their career together. So we're privileged to see all these things. So what I found 5 years down the line, almost 6 years, actually 6 years down the line, is that I'm healthier now and happier, and I look forward to the rest of my life, and I want to have a healthy, happy 90s where I'm active and and contributing. And actually dating in midlife is pretty fun, and it's not, it's you have this knowledge and wisdom and freedom, and it's actually it's a pretty good life you can have. So my message, my new passion and my new calling is that actually the second half of your life can be the better half, or as good as, I don't know how good your first half of life was, but it doesn't have to be the decline.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
Yeah.
But in spite or whatever, regardless of what phase someone is in, there's always a possibility to live a better life.
Yes.
No matter
Very well
circumstances.
said.
And I love how you use your own personal experiences to empower other women, because you've been through it and you coming out of that and you can say, I can point to you, I can show you. So I love what you do, and thank you for sharing that. Very powerful. Now my first question is this. What are some of the, because we're talking about caring for parents and also being a mom of kids that are not so kiddie, who are almost grown.
Right.
So what are some of the unique challenges to being in this position where you're caring for a parent and you have teens as well? And the reason why I'm asking this question is so we can normalize the challenge of being so what would you say are some of the unique challenges to being in that phase?
I mean, I think there's a lot going on. There's a lot of changes going on. And, somebody told me when my kids are little, once they're out of diapers, you'll have it easy. And I'm still waiting for it to get easy, because it never really does, right? So we have everybody. I think the challenge really is that everybody's changing. You have your kids who are getting older and they're getting more independent. You want them to be more independent, and they're doing more, like, there are things that they do better than I do. There are things that, 5 years ago, my son needed help figure out how to pay his electricity bill. He was like, how do I get my name? Now he's coming in and telling me, oh, there's a better way to do this, Mom. There's a better way to run your house. There's a better way. And you have to, but at the same time, they have their struggles, so you want to be there for that. Which we'll go back to later. But also the parents are changing, right? They're a moving target. There's now mom and dad who are independent and they were active and they were doing their things. They're declining in health. Their memory might be declining. They're losing their friends. Their health is declining. And there's some people get depressed. Some people become isolated. So it's always a moving target. So that the people that you're used to being independent are no longer being independent. They're needing you more. And they're not children. Some people say, they become like children. They're not. They know what they want. That you can't boss them around. They're like, no,
Right.
I want to live in my own home. It's like, no, I want to live, with where my friends are. You can't just be like, okay, Mom, I'm gonna move you in here. I'm gonna put some cameras on you so I know when you fall, and then and then you'll do this and this and that. So that's a challenge, because you have to really listen to what they want. And the other challenge is that we're changing. Like, I don't know how many times you've had this experience, but I'll run into somebody from high school or college or med school and be like, wow, you look old. You look like somebody's uncle or somebody's aunt. And then I'm like, oh, am I? Like, am I?
You say that out loud. Wow. Okay.
I don't say it out loud. I think it in my head. But I'm like, and then it's like, oh, I am also getting older. And you forget, because you're so busy and you're not like, always examining them. But you need more rest. You have less energy. When I was a resident, I would say, oh no, I'm busy that day. I'm on call. I'm free the next day because I get out early and I can go out and do whatever. Now I'm like, okay, I'm busy that day, I'm on call, and you can't count on me for anything strenuous 2 days after that. So it's very important to realize that
Wow.
to kind of manage how our bodies are changing, how our bodies are changing, and how the demands on us are changing. And many of us are, we're not in an age where we're retired, right? We're still working full time. We're running a household. A lot of us and then we have the kids who are having bigger and bigger problems, and then we're having parents who are actually having bigger and bigger problems and becoming more reliant on us.
Mm.
So it's a lot going on. It doesn't get easier, but.
So it's a lot going on. We're dynamic, so we're changing. Our parents are
Yes.
changing, and our kids are changing too. And so there's constant adjustments made here and there. And the burden of responsibility is real because we want what's best for our parents, even though they're adults and are set in their ways. And
Exactly.
but I do believe everyone's dynamic, that even they could change some to adjust with the new season. Now, my next question is this. What are some ideas you have to help caregivers effectively care for their parents and still be available for their grown kids? It's almost like a stretching.
Right.
What are tips? What are some tips? Let's say four or five of them, Doc.
So it is a stretching, and we have a limited time in our day, so we have to really prioritize what's important, right? And to do that, we have to know what our goals are, and we have to have, and that's a conversation. That's a conversation you have to have with our parents, and really listen to them. And it's so, you know, Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist, teacher who passed away recently, he said in one of his meditations that we are of the nature to die, which we know we're all going to die, but we're also of the nature where our bodies break down and we're going to become ill. So we're all going to become ill. And with your help, Dr. O, it's going to be, further down the line. But you can't say, oh, I hope my parents never get sick, or my parents never get cancer, or my parents never become debilitated. It's going to happen.
Well,
it's a matter of
get really old. Never get really old.
When they're really, really, yeah. So it's going to happen, and you have to plan for okay, hopefully it'll happen way far down the line. But when it happens, how are we going to handle that? And that's a conversation that you have to have with your parents. Do they want to be living independently? Do they want to be living with you? Do they want to be living in an assisted care, facility? And then we have to talk about what's available, what resources are available, what is their insurance covered, what do they have? And there are people who do this. There are websites that help you with this, and who what's covered by their insurance, and can you get some extra coverage, and what's possible, what do you want and what's possible. And then you have to get everybody involved. If you have siblings, get them involved. What can you do, and how can you be a part of this? And okay, okay, Mom, maybe we can't find you full-time help, or maybe you don't want to be in a care facility, but I can't take care of you full-time. What can we do so that you're comfortable, and and we are able to do what we can for you, because we want them to feel secure and have control about for the last part of their lives, and live that life the way they want to live.
Wow.
So so it's very important to have that conversation, actually. And a lot of people are afraid to have that conversation, but it's actually they find that it's a relief to have that openness, to be, this is what I want, this is what we can do, let's work on it, and you should get help from your community, church, AARP organizations, volunteer organizations. And you shouldn't try to be doing this all on your own. This should be the whole village.
It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to keep that child growing. It takes a village to raise a human, actually. I believe. There are a lot of things you said here that I wanted to reemphasize. Conversation with parents. And, we don't want to wait till the first, God forbid, fall or the first incident. Having those conversations when they're relatively healthy is good. Like, hey, you know, I just want to know what's important to you.
Yes.
Like what's important to you as you get older. What are your priorities? What would you, God forbid something were to happen, but what are important? What are things you prefer? You know, that kind of thing. I
Right.
love you said resources. So resources from church, from family members. I've had patients who are taking care of their mothers by themselves. They're overwhelmed. They're burnt out. They're almost resentful. And I'm like,
Yes.
where are your siblings? They're like, they don't help. I'm like, can they fund some of the help, even if they're not
Yes.
able to be there? Can you guys plan out the year, right? And okay,
Right.
this week, can I be able to take time off so someone can come watch her while I take a rest away? So
Yes.
all those, there are ways to get
Exactly.
people to help you, because you shouldn't have to bear that alone, because that's a lot. AARP, centered, I think I like disease online. This is for the Center for Aging. They have a website online, like different things
Mm.
in your state, resources to help you navigate that phase, especially with your parents. Bargaining. You essentially said that bargaining, like, okay, I know you want to live with me in my house, but right now I can't. We can't quite do that. Maybe we have you, this is somewhere a little closer, midway, maybe downsize a little bit, kind of meet in the middle. But conversations need to be had, and we need
Yes.
a community, a whole team.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
a whole
Exactly.
team.
Yes. That's the I think that's something that a lot of people kind of miss out on. They don't realize they can ask for help, and they can, even the siblings that live far away that can't be there. And then they just have the occasional phone call like, oh, why didn't you take mom to the doctor for her follow-up? Like, what's going on here? And then they get, people get resentful. They're like, what? I'm the one doing everything. I'm shopping for her. I'm doing this for her. I'm cleaning up after her. And now, like, you want to know why this one thing wasn't done. But from their point, they're also concerned, and you can just, they would probably feel better being able to contribute in some way and being a part of it.
Very, very, very good. Thank you so much for highlighting those. Now, where's the opportunity for self care? And I say this because I see the burnout. I see the, oh my God. So there, the one who's caught in the middle, who has a parent and who has the grown children, is like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I don't have time to take care of myself when this. You see them break down emotionally and say, yeah, I can't exercise, doc. I can't. So where's your opportunity for self care? I hope I don't lose viewers when I say this, because self care sometimes, like, I tune out. Yeah, you don't know my life, but it's important to be able to care for people. That self care. So where's your opportunity for self care in the midst of all of this, Dr. O?
Yes, I do have patients that say I can't exercise, I have no time, and I understand it's you get exhausted at the end of the day. My answer is you have to find the time. That's the most important thing. That's the priority. If you're not in good health, if you're not at your 100%, nothing else happens. Nobody's taking care of your mom the best way or dad the best way. Nobody's taking care of your kids the best way. If you're burnt out, you can't, you can't pour from an empty
Mm,
jug, right? So
mm,
you need to be. So it may just be half an hour a day, right? You get up a little earlier, you go for a walk. Consistently and have some quiet time, but you can make that half an hour a day. And you have to actually. I think that's the most important thing before you can make a schedule for the care of your parents, make a and give advice to your kids. You have to know that this is that you have to prioritize yourself and know what's important, and kind of be at peace with and de-stress. And de-stress doesn't mean you have to go for a massage for an hour, like
mm,
every week. That's nice. If you can do it, you should do that. But it's actually just knowing, like, okay, this is, these are the people I care about. This is what I want to do. I want to make sure they're well taken care of. I have a busy life, and I'm fortunate to have a busy job. There are things that you can't help, that you just have to. I think a lot of it is acceptance, and the things you can help, you have to make a plan to kind of improve. Um, but it's the self care, that half an hour a day, I think is very necessary. It's more necessary than your cup of coffee, your maybe even if you missed like doing the laundry that day. That's the most important thing.
Mm, mm,
You know, and it doesn't take a lot. It's not, self-care doesn't mean you have to go to a spa. It doesn't mean, you know, but it does mean that you have to get enough rest. You have to get enough activity. You have to nourish yourself, and you have to have that space for peace
mm,
for just a little bit
mm.
of the day.
And you essentially said it's non-negotiable. That's what you.
It's non-negotiable. I say people who run like multiple corporations exercise and meditate. People who are running countries exercise and meditate. Like there's the time is there. You have to prioritize it. On the one hand, there's always enough time, and then there's never enough time, right? You can fill your day. There's always something left to do.
Yep.
Right. It's never all done. But that half an hour you have to give yourself. Otherwise, nothing else happens.
Mm, mm. And for someone who's watching, who's doing the eye roll, like, yeah, you guys don't know my life. I'm happy for you that you could do all these things. The truth is, and this is something that I've been reflecting on the last few months.
Yeah.
I do not have time for everything.
Yes.
So I've taken that pressure off myself, that I am normal, I'm efficient, I'm a good leader. I cannot have time for everything. So, okay, so I got to choose. So that's where the decision making comes.
Yes.
So you mentioned doing the laundry. If it means the laundry may have to suffer for a little bit, or the house a little messier for your peace, I think it's a fair trade-off, because you cannot pour.
I agree.
Yeah, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that's the truth.
I have one more thing. The thing about having teenage kids and young adult kids, for me, that they can help. I remember there was one day I was like, oh my God, I can't do the laundry. My son won't have like clothes for school tomorrow. And then I was like, you know what? Go do your own laundry. If you don't want to wear dirty clothes, you got to do your own laundry, because mom doesn't have time. Like today, like I was happy to do it for you, but mom lately doesn't have time to do this. And it's good for them, right? It's good for them to be independent, and it's good for them to actually spend time with their grandparents and help out. Like my kids are driving now. They can run errands, and they can spend time with them and talk to them, and and just check in on them. And that's part of being a community, right? Knowing that, yes, like she helped you when you were growing up, when you were little, and you needed care. Now that they're getting older, you need to do the same, or you need to know that that's just part of being in the community, being in the family.
And they can have chats with them and gain some tips, some wise tips, like just from life. And we can even encourage our parents to foster that relationship, where it's like, I have to teach my mom, like, okay, to play with the kids or get to the kids, you kind of have to act like a kid. So help buffer some of the advice we're giving them, so we can foster that. So we can teach our people, we can help those around us to help us.
Yes.
We don't have to do it all by ourselves. We don't.
And I made it sound more like a duty, but actually my kids love spending time with their grandparents. They're sometimes I get so impatient, and they're so tender. They're like, Mom, like, we have to slow down. She can't walk as fast. I'm like, oh, I'm so busy. And then they'll stay, and they'll go with her. And it's a very nice thing. And it's good for everybody involved. It's actually a beautiful thing for everybody involved, right?
Yes, I love it. I love it. This has been so rich, and there's simple things, but of course, we know the simple things are usually the ones that are hard to do. But so many gems were dropped. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Have you on again, because I think conversations like this need to happen. So we women can learn how to ask for what we need and get the support we need, even through this season of our lives. Now, that being said, if I have people who are watching who are like, I like Dr. Oh, she's cool, I'd like her to come speak, I'd like to connect with her. Doc, where can people find you?
I have a website. It's called secondhalfbetterhalf.org. And also that's my Instagram, secondhalfbetterhalf. Because I really do believe my second half is going to be better than my first half. Yay!
I love that. I love that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to share that information at the end of the live, so people have access to it and they can connect with you. But thank you so much for coming. I know you're busy.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It's so much fun talking to you.
Awesome, awesome. And she put it on there already. So
Oh,
second half, better half. I like it. I like the
yes.
name, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like it. All right.
All
Thank you
righty.
all. Thank you all for watching. I remember Karen is sharing. Share this with those who could use this information. Forward it. You could send it to whoever. Remember, Karen is sharing. And if you or anyone you know is looking for a thorough, a passionate, and a caring family physician who will have conversations like this to empower you through every season of your life, I am she.
Yay.
Have a good one. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.